Going for a 4-4-2.
He didn't know what was going on in the room.
Elias managed to refrain from swearing.
He said, if you've got a problem with me, let's sort it out in the gym.
He's actually playing with our lot. The thing is...
Oh, come on! Come on! Where has that come from?
Yeah.
They brought through the door. You know, you look at the...
What a performance. What, you know, the guys...
No, that we've ruled off quite a stupid thing, but
Live from Style Space at the supporters club. Right.
But he was getting a bit tired, I thought.
Come on! There we go! Come on!
Come on! Yeah! Go!
I don't really know if I've had time to compute what we have witnessed today, but where West Ham's Champions League hope felt a blow as Newcastle boosted their hopes of staying in the Premier League with a dramatic, and you can say that again, dramatic 3-2 victory over West Ham. 10-man West Ham at St James's Park earlier on this afternoon. I'm Anton, joined by Matt. Luke, welcome back to West Ham United. Subscribe, like, comment, and all that malarkey. Anyway, lads, I'll throw this one over to you, Luke. Mate, just give me your kind of brief thoughts before we digress into the game and how you're feeling.
Brief. It was shell shocker to teasing me to a right kick in the gonads in the end. That was kind of supporting West Ham in one. It was hard to take. It's a bitter pill to swallow. I'll be honest with you, fair play to Newcastle. I thought Newcastle played well. I thought they played really well. I think we underestimated them to a point, but injuries catching up on us now, and as we'll talk about, you know, I think that's affected us, you know, a lot. But you know, it's one of them things. You know, you got to rough with the smooth sometimes. So yeah, live and learn today, really.
Yeah, same to you, Matt. How you feeling, mate?
We outplayed ourselves, didn't we? For as good as Newcastle were, they scored one goal. Like they created and scored a goal, which was the third. But the first two goals, we just continually shot ourselves in the foot. And we've been kind of poor at the back the last few games. And eventually, there's only so many games in a row we can outscore a poor defence, which is what we've been doing. And today we just couldn't outscore them. You know, we couldn't get enough goals to see us over the line.
It's definitely deflating, isn't it? I mean, it still is a fantastic season, and I find that sometimes I don't know how to explain it. I'm talking like the season's over, and it's so far from over. It's a joke. It's so far from over.
Yeah.
But it's deflating because we've worked so hard to get where we've got to. We had a fantastic opportunity today, and we just couldn't get that result over the line. And it was like one of those days at the office. But it was like one of those days at the office that West Ham didn't play crap. In particular, not in the second half. But we just couldn't get the goal or, you know, the result over the line, you know? Look, you're going to say something, mate?
No, I agree with you. I'm going to move because the light's getting on my nerves. I think, like everyone else, I don't care what anyone says. The more you think about it, Newcastle tactically outmaneuvered us in the first half. Everything we were trying to do, we weren't allowed to play forward. We weren't allowed to get the forwards involved. The midfield, you know, was very, you know, almost non-existent, to be fair. And whether that's down to people like Noble being past it, like people are saying, which is a bit harsh, but maybe a bit true as well. But little things like Lingard having to come right the way back almost to a centre-back position to try and help out and get the ball up forward, it takes effect. And, you know, Newcastle got a good win against Burnley last week. And I think a lot of that was down to the sub-appearance of St. Maximin. And he ruled the roosters against us today. He was the difference between the both clubs. He was the one that kept running at us like Lingard does against the teams that we've beaten. So, you know, it's just one of them things where sometimes you just can't against the team. And this is a problem because we've been playing, you know, the top teams and, you know, Leicester and all sorts of stuff like that, who we're competing with. We've had to up our game. I think a little bit of the old West Ham crept in that Newcastle were down the bottom. They're not going to be as tough as maybe other teams come into it. So we kind of maybe took our foot off the gas a little bit. Bonner was back, and I think Bonner was very fully fit. I'm sure we'll get to that as well. But it's just one of them things, I think, where you just kind of, you have to give praise to the other team, but we also let them take advantage as well.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we will dissect the game. Before we do it, just want to let you know we do normally do our highlights and words review show a good 20 minutes after the final whistle, but I think just a mixture of the time of kick-off and the way that it works out, and everyone's got families and lives we need to live.
Life happens, mate.
Life happens, and I'm still here. Don't worry, I'm still here. It's just my camera's gone a little bit wonky. So yeah, I apologise for that. We've come back obviously to you at 8:30 this evening with our review. So please keep the comments coming in, and yeah, we'll start dissecting the game. So let's go into it. Starting lineups. Luke, what was your brief thoughts on West Ham's lineup, mate? Starting 11, which I'll bring up for you. Ogbonna obviously stepping back into central defence in place of Creswell.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about it. I was really sceptical about it. I was very worried that we were rushing him straight back because, okay, we'll be conceding a lot of goals and not looking as strong at the back maybe, but he's just come back from a kind of a difficult injury to come back from, and to be, you got in the Premier League, you've got to come back full fitness, ready to go, right from the start. And you could tell, I think, within half an hour that he wasn't moving as freely as he normally would. He wasn't as calm on the ball as he normally would, and he was sort of like his control was a bit out, a bit out of touch and stuff like that. So as the game progressed, I think we were saying for the last 10 minutes, he just looked a bit out of sorts, and it's not his fault. He got played and everything. We've obviously got injuries at the back and stuff like that. But for me, I wouldn't have played Ogbonna. I'd have played Balbuena. I think Balbuena was the man for me that he should have been put in. For something that's fully fit. You have to pick a fully fit player over a half fit player, no matter how good the half player is. But that's just me. That's why I'm not the manager. So.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, mate, yeah. I mean, Matt, on top of that, we had other news, which was Masuaku wasn't making the game today because he's picked up a knock, and Johnson came in instead of him. What was your thoughts when you seen that lineup as well?
Well, I think that obviously we heard that apparently Masuaku's got a knock, so he wasn't played. And I think the fact that Masuaku and Creswell both didn't play is why Ogbonna came in. I think if Masuaku was fit, I don't think Ogbonna would have played. I think he felt that with Johnson, the inexperienced Johnson there, he's played Ogbonna, but like Luke said, he wasn't fit. And that's a gamble that Moyes has taken and it's backfired. And it's something he doesn't normally do. I know the only player he's really done the whole chuck them straight back in when they're not fit was Antonio, because he's the only centre forward we got. But everyone else, how many weeks in a row did Lanzini and Fornals fail fitness tests before they came back in the team? When they were injured, So the fact that Ogbonna come in, I can only assume he put him alongside Johnson. And Johnson had to come in because we're playing five. We've got two left back. We've got a left back and two wing backs, and with two of them injured, Johnson had to play. Otherwise, you were struggling to who's going to play out there. And she played like Fredericks. Again, be someone out of position. So
I think for me. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I think when it comes to the Ogbonna thing, it's as we did in the preview last night, Matt. I think we predicted it would have been Balbuena. I thought it was maybe a step too early for the likes of Ogbonna, and I think today that was proven to be the right thing, because he did look like he was struggling with fitness and his pace, and he was lacking that really today. But I mean, we'll wait and see. Let's get into the game, though. I mean, obviously, we saw the Newcastle Newcastle lineup. We know there's always going to be a threat when that man himself plays Saint Maximin. He's a great player. He really is, and he just creates stuff from absolutely nothing. And he did early doors, didn't he, Matt? Look, he was kind of all over West Ham in the first 10-15 minutes, really, wasn't he?
I watched the Burnley Newcastle game, so I had a bet on it last week, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I've got Burnley to win, and he'd come on, and as soon as you saw him take the ball, I thought, no, this geezer's room, I bet here, he's done me. And the interesting thing today is he didn't even score a goal. He just terrorised us. He just created chances, and it was just like, as soon as he was playing, I'm thinking, right, that is the danger man. That's the man who's going to cause us problems. And if you look at us back 4 months ago, we had a really, really, really strong back line. We couldn't really see us conceding many goals. I couldn't see him maybe having an impact then. But the way our defence has been over the last few games, you sort of go, no, we're susceptible now to pace and power and players getting in there. So, unfortunately, Rice isn't playing, so that means the Noble is that you can't compete with the speedy players, opposing players. And that just means that players like him are going to have a field day, and he did, and it didn't take much at all. We were carved open really, really easily. Whether that's something to do with the defence not communicating with each other in the first place, I'm not sure. But he was just one of them sort of players who you just know as soon as you know he's on the score sheet, you gulp, you go, well, shit, this could be a tough one today. And as it proved, the first 5 minutes he was all over us, and it's this difficult one to take. And I tell you now, if we qualify for Europe, I'd love West Ham to take some pump on him. Honestly, I really do. You know, offer, if you're going to offer 20 million for Lingard, you offer 20 million for Maximan as well.
Yeah, I mean, he did. I mean, I think in the first 10 minutes he had 2 attempts at goal, and I think there was it wasn't a bad tackle. He went down from a tackle from Soufal, and at that point, I think West Ham fans were, we were thinking, is he going to go off? Was this going to be West Ham's day? We're going to nullify any threat that Newcastle are having. But we really were struggling to handle him, and we really couldn't keep up with him, Matt, could we?
No, every time we play against Newcastle, when he plays, he terrorises us. Like Maximan, I said it during the stream. He's a player that's one of them players that's playing at a lower club than he should be. Mm-hmm. He should be playing at one of the quote unquote big six. He's got that ability. There's a few players in this league that are like that, and he's got pace and power, and he's direct and he's skillful. As an attacking player in the Premier League, St. Maximin ticks all the boxes, and he was literally. It was almost at times we were intimidated by him. We were scared of him.
Yeah.
Every time he got the ball, we were just backing off. We were running backwards. We were like, we don't want to get involved with him. I mean, probably rightly so, because the only guy that did done it twice and got sent off. So.
Yeah. Well, that's going to bring me on to that kind of. We'll come on to the first booking in particular. I think it's in the 11th minute when Dawson just does your typical professional foul. I think, was it St. Maximin was actually going to go through? Noble was covering him, so he wasn't going to be the last man. And to be honest, I think most West Ham fans kind of accepted the foul. I mean, I understand it to a certain extent, but I suppose the only question you could have in your mind is, why do it when you know you've got men covering you? Luke, what's your thoughts on his first? It was a yellow card, blatant yellow card, wasn't it, for Dawson?
Yeah, I mean, what a fall from grace. I mean, when he first come in, everyone was like, "Oh God, where's this guy come from? He's come from a relegated team, and he's now a mainstay in our defence." And everyone was like loving Dawson, give him a new contract, and etc. etc. And now I've just seen a comment go through saying, "Thank God Dawson's banned for the next game." So it just shows you how football changes. I do think that Ogbonna, his absence has made Dawson not have that, comfort next to him that he can do this and that. He can go for a ball and he won't get a mistake from it. And playing with Diop maybe has changed that whole mentality. He has to think twice about everything he does. But like I said, it's the way that Maximan was playing as well. Is that he's sending our defenders everywhere. They didn't know what to do with him, didn't know how to contain with him, and it was just all 3 defenders. I mean, I know Diop scored the goal that brought us back into the game in a way, but he scored an own goal, and we just looked like a calamity at the back. And it's no matter how experienced you are, sometimes you have bad days at the office. And Dawson is I'd say he's the most old school defender we've got in that team. And he moment of madness, but I think it was a fair challenge to go for. I know Stell said earlier on during the match day live, it was a bit of a lunge. He was a bit out of control doing it, but I think he had every right to go for the ball. He just didn't win it. That's all it was. Just didn't win it. So it's just one of them things.
Let me talk about this. I think it's in the 36th minute, and that man again, Craig Dawson, as you can see from the image I've put up,
he knows.
Has gone in. I think he's wiped out. Who is it? Joel Linton. He's completely wiped out. But St. Maximin gets the ball, drives it into the penalty area, gets a shot away, but it's a weak effort. However, Fabianski and Diop make a complete and utter mess of it. And Diop takes a couple of touches and backheels it into the West Ham net to make it 1-0 to Newcastle. However, that man, Craig Dawson, receives a second yellow card and is sent off for West Ham, making it putting us down to 10 men. How, game-changing was that for us today, Matt?
Well, I mean, look, Luke just said about the first yellow, everyone accepted it, and, it's one he had to make, and he had to go make the tackle. The second one, he's put himself under pressure. It was a poor touch. And then he's just flown at him. And that one was just reckless as well. And he just absolutely wiped him out. But the red card, I want to say it changed the game, but it really didn't. It's so weird. We gave them 2 goals. And then we still, in the second half, we still dominated the play and kept the possession and was doing all the attacking. But they were happy to let us do it. They're happy to let us do it in the first half. You know, they out West Ham. They out Moyes. Newcastle went, no, you're going to play the possession. We're going to be a team that sits deep and is compact, and we're going to counter-attack you. And, you know, I said for the goal, it's just Dawson's put himself under pressure with a poor touch, taking out the centre forward. And if you know what, fair play to the ref, because sometimes the referee in this league is awful. He actually played off. He could have pulled it up there. He could have pulled it up and given him the book and sent him off.
Yeah.
But he went, no, I'm going to play the advantage. And they got the goal and then he sent him off, which...
I'm just like, I've been kind of sitting back and listening. I understand why people are maybe, you know, and you said, look there, the fall from grace with regards to Dawson. I mean, I've become one of Dawson's biggest fans, and I know he's one of the most old school defenders we've got. But I mean, apart from today, and apart from, I mean, some of the own goals that players score, right? They don't mean to score them unless it's like they've tried to clear it and they've just smashed it into the back of the net, all that sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think it has been. I think he's actually been one of our strongest performers as of late. I think defensively, we're always going to have issues until we start to bring more youthfulness in there. And I understand that people say we miss Ogbonna, but we are now talking about a defence that is an ageing defence, and we've got a player who's been playing. He has been playing fantastically well since he signed for the club, but he's only made, really, in my opinion, he's only made 2 big mistakes since he's been at the club. In my opinion, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I can't use personally. I don't see the own goals as being his. I get it. It goes down as an own goal. It's like Diop today, that's an own goal. I mean, he could have done better, but then you could blame Fabianski. I mean, when it comes to that goal today, you've got to consider the fact that Dawson made the crazy tackle, getting the second yellow card, getting sent off, and the shot was weak, lads. It was a shit shot. It was crap.
It was.
What's Fabianski not?
He wasn't going to get it. I've seen a replay. He wasn't actually going to get that ball.
No, it wasn't.
But the point is positioning. For such a weak shot, though, Matt. It's a weak shot.
Poor.
It's a poor shot.
The thing is, generally speaking, the goalkeeper knows if he's going to reach a ball or not. Like, that level, they know. You know, that's why some keepers get moaned at they don't dive. And the keeper's like, well, I'm not going to reach it. I'm not diving.
Yeah.
The keeper knows. So in that instance, he'll know that he's got his positioning wrong and he's probably not going to reach that ball unless it's a poor shot. In which case, he should have just left it for Diop.
Yeah. It should have done, but if you look at it, Diop controls it with one foot, stops it, and then with the other foot goes and scores it. So it's just the trailing leg.
Fabianski's hand between his legs. It's almost like he got there, but then because he's seen Fabianski there, he's tried to pull out of the way of Fabianski.
It's one of those
he
goals.
Looked like Bambi on ice, didn't he?
It's one of those goals.
Bambi on ice, trying to get his legs out of the way.
They make DVDs out of, mate. That's one of them goals where they go. They should have been dealt with, but they must have had a few tricks before the game, because their legs were like shot to pieces.
And at that point, though, I think we all thought, oh, here we go again. Is this going to be the typical old West Ham? 5 minutes later, what happens? That man, Joe Linton, steps up and makes it 2-0. I think Matt Ritchie floats a corner into the penalty area. It looks like it's going to be a routine catch for Fabianski, but what does he do? He has a proper clanger and he drops the ball straight into Joe Linton's feet. And what? A yard out, 2 yards out, taps the ball into the back of the net, 2-0 down. Look, what's going on with Fabianski, mate?
I don't want to concentrate on just one defender. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think it was a collective. I think as a whole, I don't know why it was. I don't know what was behind it, but all of them just seemed to not have a clue what they were doing. There was no cohesive unit. There was no talking. There was no communication at all. Fabianski looked panicked. He looked like he'd been rubbing his gloves in butter before he tried to catch that shot. And I think it was one of them things where I know people don't like long balls sometimes, but that almost today was just the passing was atrocious across the back to start off with. Whether you defended it or not, we was giving away passes. You know, they weren't even closing us down, and our passes weren't getting to our man. And it was one of them games where you think we just need to knock out long. Unfortunately, got now Antonio, so there's no one to take him up top. But Fabianski is normally a really, really I think, reliable at the back. There's nothing special about him, but he will save you a load of shots that you maybe wouldn't normally get to. And today he looked just as bad as all the rest of them out there. And there was something going on before the game, or there was a crisis of confidence before the game started, or something along there. That's a harsh comment, but I can't disagree with it, to be fair. He made a couple of good saves after we went 2-0 down, but generally, I think he's had one or two games like that since he's been at West Ham, but then they're really, really rare. And fair play to him also as well, coming out on social media and apologising. He doesn't need to do that, but fair play to him for doing it anyway. But that second goal brought back old flashback to Roberto against Burnley. So yeah, I don't want to watch too many highlights of that, but it's a rare bad game for him. He'll get better. There's no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I mean, at that point, we're sitting there thinking, what is going to happen now? And we're going into half time, 2-0 down, Matt. And we're sitting here saying this game, for me personally, needed a ball-carrying midfielder. I think it needed that probably from the start. I think this is where, in my opinion, when it comes to West Ham winning games and playing well, you get caught up in the fact that you win games, but sometimes you need to change these things against the specific opposition.
Yeah.
And setting up in a specific way against other teams doesn't work against other teams. And the way we set up today, which is 9 times out of 10 the way that you would want West Ham to set up, is quite possibly the way you can't penetrate Newcastle. However, we've come in at half-time, we're 2-0 down, and we come out. And listen, it was all West Ham in the second half. There's no ifs or buts about it. But there was no substitutions made. What was your thoughts on that?
I'll be honest. I want to say I was shocked, but I wasn't. Because we sat here on half time, myself and Stel, and we were chatting about it, and I said to him, it wouldn't surprise me if we don't see any changes at half time. And Stel was like, he's going to have to bring Noble and Ogbonna off. And I was like, he won't make any. Because it's just Moyes.
Yeah.
We just know, like we've always said as well, every 6-7 games, Moyes will get something wrong. Whether it's the lineup or the tactics, he'll get one wrong. He does. He's not infallible, and today he probably got it wrong again. He went for the defensive approach against a team that's battling relegation that was setting up for the counter-attack. And like you said, we needed a ball carrier. But we didn't see a sub for God knows how long. He just left the boys at it going, you'll go on, keep going. I mean, in fairness, you couldn't tell that we were down to 10 men most of the time because we were still dominating the possession and they were hitting us on the counter, which they were happy to do.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't surprise me there was no subs. We needed subs. And, people were calling for Noble to come off. And I was, but not because he was having a bad game. In fairness.
But let's be honest, though, look, like, we did technically hand them 2 goals today.
Oh yeah.
Albeit it was a crap first half.
I mean,
we gave Newcastle 2 goals today.
They won 3-0 and they only scored 1 goal, really.
Yeah. And then there you go, there's an example. Anthos, we conceded a goal
3-0.
to the only attack in the second half, and that's it. And Stuart Cage just reminding us of the fact that with a Leicester-Chelsea possible cup final, it's perfect for West Ham, and let's hope it is. But I mean, I think I said in the Matchday Live, I was like, I'm fully expecting a sub no later than 55th minute, but we didn't see a sub in the 55th minute. What are you saying, Goldick?
I don't know if you're going to get onto Barama. If you're going to get onto Barama, I'll hold my opinion back. But this is what my point was. I think I've made it either on social media. I've made it in the past twice, and stuff like that. People are slating Ben Rama for not being a good player. People have got to take into consideration how much game time the guy's got, how many games he's actually started. And when you chuck him on into a cauldron like that, where you've got to be good the instant you're in because you're an impact sub and you've got to do this and do that. Yeah, okay, you've got to be good enough when you're on the field, but this guy is not used to the Premier League. It's his first season in the Premier League, and he's coming on. He's expected to go and save West Ham. He's expected to make the the masterful pass, the Hollywood ball, score the goal and stuff like that. Not every player is capable of doing that, and he's got massive potential, Ben Rama. But I can just tell. I've seen a few comments saying Ben Rama ain't good enough, not good enough to play for the Premier League because of what he done today. He tried to make things happen until we went 3-2 down, and even after that, he was the one that was giving the ball outside the area, passing it for all the lads, making runs, and he was trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
People forget when he's actually started the game, he's made things happen. He's created assists, he's created passes and stuff like that. And so I think today he was brought on too late. If he'd have been brought on 10 minutes earlier, we could have scored 3 goals. We could have got 3 to ourselves. So there's a sort of people have got to say Ben Rama ain't good enough. Well, how much support is he getting from Moyes? You know, I love Moyes, but he has got his downfalls as a manager.
Well, we did see a bit of movement on the bench. I think Newcastle made a substitution first, and just before we thought Benrahma was going to come on, we had a lifeline. Jared Bowen out in the wing again. I think he's got his 5th or 6th assist this season with a really, really good ball into the box, and that man Diop pops up with a header and brings us back to make it 2-1 to West Ham. And at that point, Matt, we're thinking, right, game on here. This is, West Ham had most possession, most chances in the second half. We need to just keep doing what we're doing. What did you think at that point, turning point with the 1 goal back from Diop?
Once we got a goal back, you thought, you know what, we might actually have a chance here. Because Newcastle, the second they came out in the second half, they were dropping deep. They were spending time on the floor. They were time wasted, which I entirely understand. I can't blame them. The 3 points today essentially kept them up. I think once in the last 6 years, the team been on 35 points and got relegated. So I can't blame them for that. But Diop got the goal back, and all of a sudden you're thinking, right, we were already in momentum. We already had all the possession. We just weren't really getting any end product. And then Diop pops up with a header, and you're thinking, right, we are right back in this now. They are going to start panicking, almost playing like, the reverse of what we've seen in the last 3 weeks of us being in the lead and throwing away. You're thinking, you know what? If we get 1, we could get 2 or 3. And we just needed to get that goal. And you said Diop popped up with a header at the back post to drag us a lifeline back into the game.
And then really very quickly, time. Yeah, absolutely. And straight after that, Benrahma did come off the bench and come on to West Ham. And again, very quickly after that, the ball gets crossed in. Thomas Souček goes up for a header. I think it's Clark from Newcastle has his hand above Souček's head, and the ball hits his hand. Now, when we're doing the match day live, I remember specifically, I was literally the only person screaming, shouting, handball, handball, handball. It was because I thought it was quite blatant. But sometimes in football, you get so blatant that you don't actually see it. And when I spoke to a friend after the game, he said, yeah, I didn't see it either. I was like, my God, it was like as clear as day.
A lot of the players didn't, because normally when you see a big handball,
nobody called
for it. No.
Yeah. And it went to VAR. And of course, West Ham were awarded a penalty. That man, Jesse Lingard, stepped up, scored 9 goals in 10 games. Look, I mean, where would we be without Lingard?
Well, it's funny because obviously there's comments on social media now saying the only reason West Ham are in a position they're in is because of Lingard. And to be fair, he's had a massive impact on us, but that's not the reason why, the entire reason we're in. But he is pushing us there. And he had for his game, he had a quiet game today, but he was still there trying to make things happen, and he wasn't given the freedom he normally is. Weren't as attacking as we normally are during the game. But when the time came up for someone to step up, ironically, Mark Noble was taken off before the penalty was given, so Mark Noble couldn't take the penalty and score it, and Lingard hit the post. And I'm not being funny, when I saw the replay, I was like, heart in mouth. I was like, he was very close to missing that, but he still had a good game. He still makes things happen, and this is the thing. I know we've disagreed, Anton, on the group chat, that I wouldn't pay so much money for him. I wouldn't, just due to his contract. He's only got a year left on his contract, etc., and all sorts of stuff like that. But he is now integral to our football, and unfortunately, he got taken off with what is suspected cramp. And I hope that's all it is, because he did suffer it a couple of times in the previous games when he was playing, which kind of makes you worry about his fitness a little bit, because we're playing 90 minutes, no extra time. But he has become integral. You can't take him out now, because he's too good and he's too impactful, and he's scoring a goal every game. So he's got to stay fit. This is the problem, and our better players, are dropping up flies. So fingers crossed, if someone up there, please do us a favour, just keep him clean and all good. But yeah,
I mean, listen, at that point though, Matt, it's 2 each. There's a Desmond on the cards. There's 6 or 7 minutes to go. Newcastle, it's like West Ham have just slightly. The thing is, I didn't think West Ham were going to take their foot off the gas for any longer than a minute. But what I didn't realise was, in that 1 minute that West Ham took their foot off the gas, that Newcastle would have 2 really strong chances at goal. One clearance from Ben Johnson off the line, and then the second one wasn't a clearance, and that man Willock rises above. Who was it? He rose above Diop.
No, I think he went above Johnson, didn't he?
Yeah, Diop off the line, and Johnson was the one who missed a header to clear it. Yeah,
and headed the ball into the back of the net to make it 3-2 to Newcastle. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. We were 10 men down, but we weren't playing like we had 10 men. We were actually playing like we had 12 men at one point. We were on fire. Just before that cross came in, I literally said in the Matchday Live, I was like, "Don't sit back." And it was a shout that I would have been doing if I was on the pitch. And I had so much faith that 1 minute from when I said that we would stop sitting back. It's just the fact that they took us and took the goal to West Ham. Look, describe how you felt when that third goal went in.
It's hard to, because everyone knows how you feel without having to describe it. It's a complete kick to the gonads. You know, I tried to think why we would sit back after that. But my head was too filled with, oh my God, it's 2-2. Now go forward to get the third. And that's what I was thinking, you know, don't play for the draw, get out and try and get the winner. But I think Stell said it after we got the 2-2 that Newcastle woke up and they went for the winner themselves. And I don't think we were expecting it. I think we thought that they would just hide back saying, right, try and keep the 2-2 now because that's all we're going to get out of this. And Newcastle went completely the other way and went, right, no, we're going to take the game back to you now and we're going to try and get the winner. And if you concede after it with a good header, you can say fair enough. But they had a chance before that. And the fact it was off the line, I thought, okay, we're trying ourselves, keep a 2-2, and then maybe hit on the counter last minute and try and win it 3-2. But I thought they're gonna score in a minute because that off the line means that we've lost our concentration and they're straight back on it to go and get the winner, which they did in the end. And it was you've watched West Ham of old, and West Ham don't come back from 2-0 down ever. We don't look that up for it. And this season proves how you know how much we like to sort of, you know, give it our best shot. You know, we never say die attitude, but that was naivety. For me, it sums it up as naivety, and it's naivety that's kicked me in the heart. I've been drinking all afternoon because of it, because I'm trying to dull the pain. But that's football. That's West Ham.
Yeah, it really is, mate, and it's tough to take. Listen, we 8 minutes of injury time. Nothing really happened in that, but I mean, disappointing. It's a massively disappointing result. I mean, a couple of things I want to talk to you about, particularly in the game, though, was who was the player that swapped his inner shoes or his boots just before Newcastle?
No.
Yeah, I think it was.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was
Fernandes?
It was the other geezer. Yeah, I think it was Fernandes. I think it was him, the other centre back. I'm pretty sure it was the other centre back. I can have a look. I'll have a look at my phone. I'll have it, I'll blow.
Yeah. But the thing is, though, he literally West Ham had gained a little bit. Hold on, we're going to bring in someone into the. Yeah, I can see him in the background.
Yeah.
He's fixing what's he doing? He's I don't know. Is he painting or he's cooking dinner or he's under the thumb or
glasses ain't working.
Shower, or he's late. Is he awake? We don't even know if he's awake. Let's bring him on. Still, we're just kind of talking. We'll come on to you in a minute, mate, about that. But we're talking about the incident where the player changes his shoes, and I'm bringing it up for a reason. You know, normally I wouldn't care about stuff like that, but West Ham had momentum at that point, and that's exactly what that player did. He killed the momentum.
Yeah, they
game. What was the referee doing, letting him do that?
Well, why did he let him do it on the pitch rather than telling him to get off the pitch? But it was great tactics, wasn't it? Because it broke up our play. We had the momentum at the time, and the referee stood over him and waited for him to put his effing boots on instead of telling him get up and get out, get on the sidelines.
That was near the end of the first half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And he added no time for it.
And he added 2 minutes, and it took that guy longer than 2 minutes to put his boots on. But you know what? That ain't what lost us the game, is it?
No, it's not. But I mean, we've done a review. We've done a review. But what it is it's a turning point. I'm not saying it's what lost us a game, but it's a turning point.
Just saying, we've done our review, and as usual, Still's late.
Mate, I had things to do. Unlike others who have been drinking all day, I had duties. I had to go and see the old deer and take her shopping and all that stuff. So there you go.
What I would say, you're saying about him doing his boots, is his game management. It's something we don't do that well. You know, that was right at the end of the first half. It was 2-0. We were getting momentum again. And then someone's found a way to just kill the game.
Yeah.
You know, they've done it a lot in the second half as well. I mean, there was one where Almiron jumped up with, I think it might have been Johnson or Diop.
And looked like he'd been struck by a sniper bullet. Yeah.
And as soon as the free kick was awarded, he spent about a minute on the floor, and then he just stood up and walked
Yeah,
off.
they played. Their tactics were clever. They knew how to break up our momentum, and they did it well. We hated it, but they did it. They knew what they were doing. Absolutely.
They had
I do
to.
not understand why
it.
Kevin Friend allowed that guy to keep it, to change his boots or soles.
I think they do something. If your laces are inside and they do your laces, sometimes they let you stay on the pitch because they think you're going to be done in about a minute, and then after that, they could let you carry on. But he took a long time to do that. To be fair, I think he even said to him, "Look, if you're going to carry any longer, then you have to go off the pitch." But in the end, he just left him on and get on with it. But they do that sometimes when their laces come undone, and they let him get on with it. But
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. It was.
But she killed her.
We can't listen. It is disappointing. It's massively disappointing. When we're a cloud cuckoo land this season. To be honest, is it just me or Dawson got worse since signing Pep? We've spoke about it already. Still,
absolutely.
To be fair, he was made permanently after he scored the own goals. No,
don't be fair.
He was made permanent after he scored the 2 own goals anyway. So that was previous game.
He's already going to decline by that point.
Yeah, harsh.
You know what?
Yeah.
This game today, and it's not. I'm not having a dig or any of that sort of stuff. When anyone tries to jump on it,
you're about to say, but
this game today and the way we played it out is the reason that Moyes didn't work out at Man United. It's the reason that he's not a quote-unquote top 4 manager. Because we only have one way of playing. We have to play counter-attacking football.
I don't know, mate. Look at the second half. Look at the way we played in the second half. 2-0 down, a player down, and we came out in the second half. We won the second half. We won 2-1.
So,
but how many chances do we actually have?
I do agree with what you're saying, though, mate. I do agree with what you're saying.
I don't know, mate. But
look at me. What keeper saves keeper had to make?
No, that's not the. Well, we scored 2 goals though.
Yeah, we had 2 shots. We had 70%.
Yeah, but that don't matter. It doesn't matter. If you have 2 shots and they're both on target, they count.
But then you can also sit back and have 30%.
But yeah, Matt, we had 10 players.
Goals.
We had 10 players. We weren't going to get that many chances. I think what gives me an awful lot of faith is the way we played in that second half. Composed, passing it around, really patient. They were all sitting back. We were really patient, passing it around, looking for the break. I've never seen. It's been a long time since I've seen a West Ham team play that way, especially when we were 2-0 down and with 10 players as well. I credit them for what they did. I mean, calamity errors for their 2 goals. They should never have got them. But the fact that we came back in the second half and the way we played in the second half gives me an awful lot of faith in how we play out the rest of this season. Because if this was last season, we would have caved in, lads. We'd have gone off. Might as well make it 5.
I don't know for a second we would have. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Toby's picking up on a point on the third goal, which I didn't see. I didn't see it because as soon as the ball hit the back of the, as soon as the ball hit the back of the net, my head was down and I was gone. I was just so deflated because I was so bloody up for it. So I think Toby's stressing the fact that he thinks that Augie was actually fouled for the third goal. I'm not too sure. I've not seen it. So,
no, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. So,
yeah. So just let us know more on that, Toby. But yeah, just a bad day at the office, guys.
And Toby, sorry I booted you off the chat during the watch along.
Did you?
It was meant. Yeah, I was gunning for someone else who was pissing me off with the negativity.
Really, I would never know that you were
angry. I was so angry that
Stell goes on to every single West Ham Facebook group.
I do.
Yeah, he does that. It's weird.
I do. And I did.
And this statement causes the whole West Ham world
to
care.
This is what makes me laugh. Is that you constantly go Twitter, down on Twitter world, all the meltdowns.
But
you do exactly the same, but on Facebook.
No, but I didn't know. What I said was I was really upset with the way the fans were behaving, as if we'd just been relegated.
Yeah, but you get that, mate. You get this. The
yeah,
problem.
But it's ridiculous, mate. We've had such a great season.
You have to take the positives with the negatives.
Bipolar fan base going. Right, that's why
we do.
I generally avoid social media the day off, like the day of a game. Like after a game, I normally give it a good 12, 24 hours before I jump back on because if we win a game, we're going to win the Champions League. If we lose a game, we're getting relegated down at the
Yeah, you're
league,
right, mate. You're right. Yeah.
Still, I did agree with your statement, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just
because I don't think I was just trying to say to people, for goodness sake, get a grip. You know, it's as if like
you got to remember, people are in pubs now. Pubs are open. Everyone's pissed up in beer gardens, and they want to take their frustration out on social media. Let them do it. Let them go, and they'll be happy as Larry in like 10 hours time. But yeah. By the way, I did see talking about people in the chat. I did see Reese when they've started the video. He's got his interview. He got the job that he had the interview for earlier in the week. So well done, mate. Congratulations for that.
Congratulations, Reese, mate. Well done.
Oh, congrats! Oh, well done. What was what did he get? What job? What is it?
Don't know. No idea what it is. Hopefully, it's not anything dodgy. But yeah,
Lollipop Man or something like that.
That's the most dodgy one you can have.
That looks like actually, you look like a lollipop man, don't you? Look at you. You look right like a lollipop man. Nothing against lollipop men, but you do look like one.
A dodgy lollipop man.
But listen, if you can't laugh, what can you do?
We're going to absolutely spank Chelsea next weekend, boys. We are going to spank. We're going to come back and we're going to go.
Still through the camera. Just give me a fist bump through the camera. Go on.
Did you just do that?
No, do that. Yeah, that'll do. Go on in.
We are gonna spank Chelsea next weekend.
Did you just do some social media thing? I don't know what you just did. Matt, give me a high five, Matt. Give me a high.
Fuck off.
Matt, give me a little. Oh, Stell, give me a kiss, Stell. Come on.
Get lost, you. No, seriously, we're going to learn from that. And Dawson ain't playing either, which is not a bad thing. And we're going to spank Chelsea next weekend, boys. We're no way we're going to lose next weekend. No way.
Happy Hammer 82. Next week is better.
I haven't even had a drink. Can you imagine if I was drunk saying
look, you can put the comment up. Go on.
Yeah, all right. I didn't want to highlight it really, but yeah, bless them, whoever it is.
It has happened. Had a really shitty week. This is top.
It was a bit. I don't know if this review or the game. I'm not sure.
Anyway, sorry, I sort of gate crashed the review.
Yeah, you do. You like the attention, mate. I think that's what it is.
I do. Well, come on to promote my show on Monday nights. Move to Monday nights.
No, you can't.
Can you get a shout? Go on, Luke. This is
Anthony Baker.
Sorry. Yeah. So what we need to remember is the flag. What is it? The flagship show of West Ham United is on Monday night. It's on Monday night.
Oi.
Still is.
Andy, get this. When did you think he was ever the governor? God.
Sorry, the flagship show on Monday night, West Ham Weekly, will be on Stelios, the king of everything West Ham. Let me just quickly give you a brief information about this. Sorry, Stel sent an email to someone this week, and I'm in part of the same email address, and I seen the
Shut up, Anton. Boring git.
When I seen the reply, I seen what Stel wrote.
Well, if I wanted to keep it private, I would have sent it from my own email address, wouldn't I? I wouldn't have sent it from Irons United.
And all I wrote back to Stel was, I just wrote to him a private message, flagship. That's all I wrote. And he knew what I was talking about.
Toby, if you don't stop asking for hoodies. Is it? Oh, it's. I thought it was Toby.
I've got control of the thing now. For the first time ever, I can control what comes to see. Every time I put one up, someone else puts the other one up.
It's because we all did.
There's no cohesion in this at all. This is really easy.
I love this question. Do you do it? Would you have difference with Matt? Mate, we would have lost 5-2.
Oh, mate, we'd have walked it with Matt.
I actually think we may have won today.
Get rid of him. Bring him back.
Is that look in control now? Right, look. Washing up is waiting. Hold on a minute here. Toby's giving us a rundown. Still, you're the fans' favourite, mate. It's because people feel sorry for him, Toby. Matt is the brains and Luke is the up-and-comer.
It's amazing that he hasn't mentioned you in this at all.
No, it's because...
He's
the governor. Yeah.
Thank you. There you go, Still.
I love this. Alf is the old-timer. If only you knew the ages between me and Alf. You wouldn't be calling him an old timer, mate.
No, you really wouldn't. Trust me, Toby.
Yeah.
You really wouldn't, mate.
Yeah,
Stell's
really wouldn't. Really wouldn't. really
actually,
wouldn't.
the way that Stell acts, sometimes maybe you would.
I'm the funny guy, I think.
Oh yes, exactly. What about Jake? What about Jake? You know,
Who's Jake?
Jake's the prodigy, I'd say.
And listen,
He
we are
is.
working
He's
on the
the
music, but listen to this, right? Stell keeps getting copyright strikes from all the music he keeps putting
Hang
in.
on.
He
I've
gets
got
a
one.
source.
I've
He
got
gets
one.
a source. He thinks he knows what he's talking about, and he really doesn't.
I got one copyright strike. He got about half a dozen. And all of a sudden,
Right, listen, we're rambling. We're rambling.
we are.
We are
We're cheering
rambling.
people up and forgetting
Yeah,
about the
suppose-
score. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, they were until you said that. Now it's all.
Who's the one that says? Who's the one that says? I mean. Who's that? That's you, Anton.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, that's Jake. I mean,
that Jake?
I mean, bless him. He does, yeah.
Poor Jake. Poor Jake. It's all right, Jake. Mate, you've got you know. By the time you get to our age, you'd have been you'll be a professional in this.
But he says, I mean, really well.
Porn music, Reese. You're too young to understand music, mate. Honestly. Anyway, should we go because we are talking
Like
shit.
jazz.
No, that's just you, mate. Right, come on, Stell, promote your. Come on, go for it.
Come, Diva.
Get rid of both of them. Back to radio, top boys. Here we are. Right. What should we end it with, mate? What should we
End it with that. I'm giving prizes out to fickle fans. £10 prize money for those calling Moyes out.
Surely not
who's
people are
saying
calling
that?
Moyes out. I wouldn't be surprised. To be fair.
Mate, honestly, you know, I'm glad I'm not on Twitter, but
Yeah, but you're on Facebook and you're
Facebook
bloody
today
mental on it.
Was on. I didn't go mental. I think I made a really good point. To be honest.
Jeff Goldblum were mental, not Stell. Jeff Goldblum were mental.
Ah, there you go.
That's copyright looking right there. Celebrity names.
Right,
Names
I'll
up
give you the rundown. Today's Saturday, obviously, we've done a review. We've done our match day live earlier on today. Tomorrow's Sunday. Stell's now moved his West Ham Weekly, the flagship show of West Ham United, to Monday evening, West Ham Weekly. He'll be setting it up for 8 o'clock, come on at 9:30 and not stop till 1 o'clock in the morning. So be prepared. That's a Monday evening. We've got no show on Sunday, but we're looking at filling that gap somewhere, somehow. I'm not too sure yet. We'll come up with something.
Anton's Hot Tub Hour, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the hot tub hour. You're doing that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hot Tub Hour with Anton Baker.
Yeah.
And on the hot tub. People, if you haven't seen it, go on, tell them. What channel were you on? Were you in a hot tub?
Well, have you watched it still? You probably did watch it. You probably get
Why
excited.
would I even want to
You
watch
probably
that?
would get excited, mate.
Bad enough being on the same show as you, let alone me taking
Yeah,
my
but you
time.
phone me every day
to
still.
watch-
You and
Do
he
I?
FaceTimes me, and I try and put it on audio, and I'm like, why?
He
are you
messages
messaging?
me and I ignore it for hours. I think I'll answer him at 9 o'clock tonight or something. You know.
Get a room, you two, for God's sakes.
Right, listen. Tuesday night we've got the player ratings. Matt and Jake will be back at 7 o'clock for the player ratings on Tuesday. And then we've of course got our West Ham dailies every day next week as well. So keep your eyes on them. And thank you very much for joining us. It's been a
It's been a one, innit? It's been a lot.
It's been
It's
a
alright.
the emotions
You
we
know.
go through as West Ham fans. It's just it's crazy.
Don't go getting all serious now. Right.
Yeah,
Lovely.
let's go. Got things
Yeah.
to do.
Look,
Yeah, so
Okay.
have I.
anyone that's
Told
taking
off.
think we're on 55 points already. You
There you
know,
go.
It's not
You said
56
at the start
though.
of the season,
It's not
would have
56.
snapped your hands off.
No, it should have been
Yeah.
58, but there you go.
Should have been
Yeah,
58,
anyway,
but
anyway.
Reese,
Is what it
just
is.
to answer Reese's question, I think Luke needs to be on more. So do we. But it's just you need to speak to Luke.
Due
apparently
to
he's the
availability,
busiest man.
because he doesn't pay the rent. This unfortunately doesn't pay me any income. I come in through.
Well, if you got involved, it might.
Well, no, because you keep losing sponsors.
Did you not? Did you not know?
That's him.
Well,
That's him.
The best sponsor
That's Stella's
video's
fault.
gone. You know,
that's Stella's fault.
it's ironic that the one that's got the most money
They
they
got-
didn't like.
They
For
got
some
clue what they're
reason.
talking about, have they?
Exactly.
The one, the flagship show, yeah.
Flagship show, yeah.
Flagship show.
I will try and be on more though. I will try and be on more just to please my fan base. Yeah.
Well, he is. He's toying with doing a daily. if
They
we could
don't
ever
want you
actually-
blowing bubbles in the hot tub there, Anton.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a hot tub. He should have bathed. He keeps farting. That's where he is. That's where the bubbles come from, mate.
I don't think that's what Kevin's talking about, mate.
Right. Careful,
Right,
Luke.
I'm
I'll
off.
have your job,
I'm
mate.
off.
There you go. Listen, thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. He's been Matt up there. He's been Luke over there. He's been God knows what he is. I've been Anton. I'm only joking. He's still. This is West Ham United. Come on, you Irons. Have the faith. Next week, Chelsea. We're back up there.
Spanking.
Come on, you Irons.
Spanking.
Love yous.
We'll spank you still.